They said it was impossible. They said humans would never fly. They said we'd never walk on the moon. And they said I'd never reach 100 development playing only in Siberia. Today, I proved them wrong. So why is Siberia so hard? -6 development a month. Surely that's not so bad. Let's just promote development, maybe stack a couple modifiers, and okay, so that's not nearly enough. Are all the Siberian counties like this? Yes, they are. This permafrost modifier can be removed by feudalizing. To feudalize, we need to get 10 development. I think I'm starting to see why this is going to be so difficult. All this means is that we need to find a way to consistently get more than 6 development per month in our capital for however long it takes to reach 10 development. Maybe easy to do in a normal game, but in Siberia? Good chance. We're tribal, which means increasing development is only half as effective. It also means we have no development buildings to construct, and we're stuck with tribal era techs. Why don't we just form a hybrid culture for those techs? Yeah, we can't do that. Siberian cultures can't form hybrids. I'm going into this with a very strict mindset. I'm going to follow the rules down to the letter. No exceptions. I'm only allowed to use land within Siberia, and I'm required to play in counties with the deadly modifier. So, no cheesing this challenge. The only reasonable place to start is as north as we can, right here in the county of Kazim, a 1-county tribal state. As a member of the Ossetic culture, we have a grand total of 2 innovations in the Siberian tradition Tribes of the North. This tradition turns the hellscape of Siberia into something that can actually be used. I mean, sort of. The development penalty is still there, but it actually makes constructing buildings cheaper and gives us an extra building slot. Hey guys, so I made this video because we reached 1,000 subscribers on the last one, but if this video reaches 1,000 subscribers, then I'll do whatever the top comment is. So give me your best suggestion, and if it gets enough likes, I'll be doing it. And if we get 1,000 subscribers. But we don't need to build right now, we need to conquer. This is phase 1, take over Siberia. To stack all the modifiers we need, we'll need a lot of resources. We have 300 light footmen and 100 of these special archers that at a first glance have terrible stats, but at a second glance, you'll see that they get a huge bonus in taiga, making them better than regular archers in this region. New troops cost prestige as a tribal, so I'm getting many more archers. Our troops are stocked, so let's start declaring some wars. And we actually lost our first battle. They had a better commander, so my extra men didn't help. So I'll buy more men. That did the job, and now I have 2 counties. Now to expand further, I have an issue. Our neighbors are both allied to each other. I could beat them in a 1v1, but not a 2v1, no chance. There's a trick I can use with raiding. When you raid someone, their allies can't help, so I can weaken our neighbors this way. In addition to weakening their armies, winning battles also gives us a bunch of prestige. In fact, winning battles gives way more prestige than raiding cities, so I actually want to fight battles. Raiding will also give us money, and with that money, I can form a duchy title. We're now a duke, although our neighbor wouldn't dare join us due to our low legitimacy. Money for buildings isn't an issue, thanks to our weird culture, but I still need all the prestige, which is why I'm building gathering halls for monthly prestige. We get a total discount of 80% gold on construction, by the way. I'm just doing some raiding to get stronger to take on our neighbors. The best part of this is that our neighbor's army is killing themselves on our army, and I'm obliterating the other neighbor's army. It's now the perfect time to take that last county of our duchy. They scared me, so I ran to my capital, and with the defensive bonus, we should win. They've been absolutely owned, and that county is mine now. For our other neighbor, I have the subjugate war goal that I can use to take over the whole place. Now that I have his land, I can almost form our first kingdom title, but I just need 1 more county to do so. I'll use the same strategy where I first go in there raiding to destroy the place to make them an easier target. We'll also be a lot stronger with hit and run, adding 30% damage to our archers. I took another county, and once I reach the 250 gold required, I'll be a king. I'm pretty old and close to death, and I want my heir to have as much prestige as they can to reform the culture, so I'm thinking I'll just wait to form that title once I die. Our new guy kinda sucks, but I plan to make a great man out of him. And guess who's a king now? I plan to continue using the same strategy of raiding to get prestige and hurt enemies' militaries, then claim their land for myself. As a king, I need to make sure to hold coronations. It keeps our legitimacy high, gives us some prestige, but will also give us some development. It's all about the oaths. Some oaths grant development, which will be useful when I'm not losing 6 per month. For now though, I'll be swearing to expand the realm, since I plan to keep doing that of course. Aside from war, I will begin to save a prestige to make our culture. We will need forest wardens for that, as it gives development growth in taiga, and that costs 4,000 prestige. The other tradition we need is garden architects. It adds a court position that increases capital development gain, which is something we desperately need as well. I didn't mention this earlier since I thought the challenge was already hard enough, but you should know that our nice little tribal area is surrounded by nomads, and nomads pack a punch. They always end up having huge nations with tons of troops. Another reason for us to continue expanding through Siberia, we need to be able to defend ourselves. I have enough renown for my first legacy, and I have to go down your edition to get treasured knowledge, which gives 20% development growth. I'm not kidding when I say we will need every single possible development modifier at once to succeed this game. And here's another development boost. Once we complete our oath, the capital will get plus 0.25 development for 25 years. This won't be super consistent since it requires us to complete an oath, something we can only do once per character, but every bit helps. I've completed that oath by expanding further. I know this is playing tall in Siberia, but Siberia is fairly big. Each county here absolutely sucks, so I need to get as much land as possible. That I'm allowed to, of course, to be able to afford completely changing my culture, religion, and setting up my character traits. A lot of this game will be about events. It's how I'll be getting the prestige and piety. And events are expensive to host. I need to get as much income as I can get, and as you can imagine, income is limited in the middle of the tundra. I hire more troops, I go raiding, I take more land. I use the prestige to upgrade the buildings in my domain, specifically the ones that give me more prestige and more money. They only go up to a max level of 2, so it's not like I need to make that many purchases. There's a big Siberian state bordering us now, so I will take it all in one big subjugate war. The bigger army is the army that wins in this kind of war, which is why I know I'll be able to take all of Siberia. To form a new culture, I'll need 3000 prestige, so I'm trying to decide if I should go for it now or let my son handle it. Unfortunately, I have multiple sons, so I know my realm will split apart at the time of my death. There's no easy way to prevent this as a tribal state, other than to kill my own sons, but I think it'll be okay to let it split apart. I can always put the pieces back together. Our culture has 2 innovations. Yes, 2 innovations. And I'm the new culture head looking here at how it'll take over 100 years to get one new piece of technology. Yeah, we're not going to be able to use innovations for a while. I'll be researching currency for the 10% dev growth, but I don't expect to get it anytime soon. Normally, I create hybrid cultures to get a bunch of innovations, but you can't transfer the Siberian tradition that way. So hybrid cultures are off limits. I plan to diverge my culture to get the bureaucratic ethos for 15% dev growth. I got the 3000 prestige I thought I needed, but now the cost is 3500. I'm not really sure why. After getting the remaining prestige, I can now form that culture. Luckily, the price didn't increase again. And the Siberian culture is born. Now, it doesn't have the traditions we need, so really it's just here for show. But I'll be adding the traditions we need whenever we get enough prestige to do so. To get enough development growth, I need to have high stewardship and learning people in the family. The best way to do that is to use eugenics to introduce the smarty pants traits into our family. This woman has intelligent, the second out of 3 tiers. It increases each stat while also increasing lifestyle experience. We need the stats, and we especially need the lifestyle experience in the family. I've married her to my son and heir. We've expanded to the border between tribal and nomad, so I'm thinking it could get much more difficult to get any bigger than this. And I can't expand the other direction because that ain't Siberia, and I don't want anything to do with it. Huh? I now have this county outside of Siberia. I didn't go to war for it or anything, it's just a weird nomad situation where I randomly got the land. I plan to just ignore it. I won't make use of the land outside of Siberia, not like nomadic land is useful anyways. I want to keep the Siberian culture in just our one capital county. The more it spreads, the slower research will be once I actually start developing the land. Due to the heavy modifier, every county that I'm not focusing all my resources on will be stuck at 0 development, and the average development of our culture going down will decrease research speed. Anyways, I'm telling our vassals to chill out and build stuff instead of promoting culture, and I'll make sure new vassals aren't even of our culture so I don't have to do this. Rest in peace the king. It's now King Dandi's time to shine. As expected, the land was split up, but it won't be an issue. I'll start my reign by hosting a coronation. Expanding the realm should be easy since I have the perfect war to go for. My brother may have gotten a kingdom, but I inherited the entire military, so this should just be a formality. Yep, after running around, I captured my brother, regaining all my father's land. Now I'll just sit back, relax, eat some food, and get some prestige. Now that is awesome. Having a wondrous coronation reduces the development decline by 20%. That's an entire point of development right there for something I'm going to do with each character. Another event that increases development gain is the Grand Tour, which at max level gives 0.3 development growth per month. With our prestige, I could get Forest Wardens now, or I could go for the more expensive tradition and get Garden Architects first. I'm going for Garden Architects first. It gives a flat bonus to development instead of a percent, and this flat bonus will do me more good right away. I will go ahead and host that Grand Tour. It'll give me the prestige I need for the tradition and that development bonus. I need to try to get every single bonus I can after all. And now I'm getting the second dynasty legacy. The third one is the one we need, so we're 1 away. To reach max majesty on my tour, I'm traveling to many of my vassals, which takes an incredibly long time. There's also so many dang events. 7,000 prestige was achieved, and I can get the tradition that'll give us up to 0.5 flat development gain per month. After 5 years, we'll have it. While we wait for that, I'll continue expanding east. After some years, I've taken a lot of the nomadic land. I want to create the Empire of Siberia title, so I need more. And that sure is an untimely death. I'm sure it has nothing to do with my decision to fight a boar in hand-to-hand combat. Robert Baratheon would be proud. Unfortunately, my realm is split up yet again. Absolutely nothing a little war won't solve. In fact, my brother's capital is right here, so we should win this war in no time. Maybe I should be concerned. I just lost a battle against raiders in my brother's land, and now someone's raiding my land. And now I've lost a battle against some other force fighting my brother as well. It's some civil war he's got going on. Come on, bro, you're sending me a white piece when you're not even old enough to speak in complete sentences? Oh, this war just got exponentially harder. Nomads do this thing where no matter what you do, they rebel against you every 10 years if you're not a nomad too. And when I say every 10 years, I mean separate nomad groups rebel that often. There's going to be a rebellion way more often than every 10 years for this entire game. I'm going to have to deal with that. Granted, it'll be hard since I'm in a separate massive war. I guess news spread that I'm dealing with a lot right now, as these guys are jumping on the chance to take some of my land. You know the best part? And by best part, I mean the part that makes me want to pull my hair out. I hate nomad rebellions. The fact that winning a battle doesn't destroy the entire stack of troops like when you're fighting the peasant rebellions is the worst. Instead, you have to wait for the enemy army to run away after defeat, and then go and defeat them again, sometimes more than once. After catching up to the enemy, I finally successfully defeated the nomads. They'll rebel in 10 more years, of course. Wait, that expansion war against me doesn't even matter. The land isn't even part of Siberia. So I'll just surrender that, so now I can focus on defeating my brother once and for all. Okay, it's not really my brother I'm fighting anymore. He got overthrown after all. I still won though. Now my realm is back together, except for this part, which split off for some reason. Okay, it's finally time to hold my coronation. Once again, I will expand the realm. Hopefully this time I'll form the Siberian Empire. I'm getting closer and closer to that goal the more we conquer. I didn't bring this up earlier, but now's the time to mention that I won't be getting Forest Wardens anytime soon. I need to wait until 976, 50 years after we establish Garden Architects, which just finished by the way. This way is fine. I mean, we need our dynasty legacy, and we need a good learning education, or at least a stewardship education leader. After decades, I've only gotten us a couple of bonuses to that development, but I'm on the way to add a few more to this. Those things are going to take time, so while we wait, let's take more counties. I can also talk about the lifestyle perks we will need. In the stewardship lifestyle under the architect tree, there's this perk, centralization, that gives plus 0.3 stewardship per month in the capital. Once we get that, I'll be changing to a learning lifestyle. Planned cultivation makes increasing development more efficient by 20%. Then, most importantly, we want to get Scholar. It increases development growth by 15%, while also decreasing the amount of development we will lose from the Siberian penalty. It's a crazy 2-in-1 that we absolutely need. Oh, and just having a learning lifestyle gives another 15% development by default. I'm 9 counties away from forming the Empire of Siberia. To continue winning wars, I've replaced my entire military with our special archers. After a couple of wars, we now only need 4 counties. I just got centralization, and now I will switch to a scholarship focus. Another way to get development will be to get the currency innovation, which, very luckily for us, just so happened to be the random innovation our culture is going for. With me researching it on top of that, we'll have 10% extra dev growth in 16 years. Guess who can create Siberia? Me. It's me, obviously. We're an emperor now. We control almost all of Siberia, and I'll probably take some remaining counties, but I don't care to take it all as it wouldn't benefit us in any meaningful way. If I start promoting development in our capital, I get 3.2 development per month. Let's see though, I can hire a gardener. I have no one who's good at it, but average will still get us some development. It's looking like this now, with a net change of negative 2.4 per month. We're getting help from our religion having the sanctity of nature tenet. This will help, plus 20% from treasured knowledge achieved. Whoa, look at that, we're not losing any development. Minus 0.0. Treasure knowledge plus the great banquet buff from holding a feast recently. And wait, our last gardener died, so if I hire a new one, I might start getting development. Oh my god, we're actually getting development. That's huge. I mean, this won't last forever since some of these buffs are only temporary ones, but it's looking great, and I don't even have Scholar yet. Let me host another tour for that buff. With the tour buff, we're getting a tiny amount of development, but that's because the feast buff wore off. If we get both, we should be set. Yeah, look at that, 0.8 gain per month. Now 10 years is a long time to wait for just one development point, so we'll have to keep stacking the modifiers. Unlocking currency is one of those modifiers, another 10% achieved. One more required thing to enter the feudal era will be to reform our religion to make it organized. Our domain already has 3 holy sites, which is what is required to reform our religion, so once I get enough piety, I'll make sure to do that. I just unlocked the Scholar trait, which means we should be getting a good amount of development per month. 1 point a month to be exact. We're really close to getting our first development. We've actually done it! We got our first development level. Should be real smooth sailing from here, right?
Are you sure about that?
And that might have been the case if it weren't for one critical issue, the existing development penalty. We need to keep stacking modifiers if we don't want to be here for the rest of our lives. Each level of development we get, the harder it'll be to get the next one after it. I can try to research things to decrease the penalty for existing development, but like you already know, it takes so many years to research anything. At least we can actually research something within 50 years now. Even just one development did that for us. I can now unlock the profit perk, which will make creating a new religion way cheaper. For our religion, I'm actually keeping all the same tenets. The only required tenet is sanctity and nature for the development boost. I just really need an organized religion. That's the only reason I'm doing this. This might surprise you, but I want the befriend perk. To get this, I need to switch to a diplomacy lifestyle. That means I'm missing out on 15% dev growth for this, but trust me, it'll be worth it. To make up for that temporary 15% missing, I can finally start establishing forest wardens to the culture for the development growth in Taiga. Okay, there's the befriend perk. I'll switch back to a scholarship focus as soon as possible, but first I need to befriend our steward. Befriending your steward will increase the amount of development they produce in your county of choice. Whoa, I had no idea it did this. The Magnificent Liege buff from tours actually stacks. The buff lasts 20 years and you can do a tour every 10 years, so realistically you can get 2 of the buff at any given time. It just so happens that I have 3 for the next month. Our development is back to growing and we've actually gotten it to level 2. And yes, almost every county in the game starts at a higher development than this, but at least we're getting somewhere. Unfortunately though, the existing development penalty is going up too, and that's quite frightening. At this point, I'm not completely sure if this challenge is fully possible, but I will push it to its limits. For my next Dynasty Legacy, I'm sticking with the Erudition tree as the 5th one actually will make our steward better at increasing development. This event could be huge. I can pay 320 bucks to build a city in what I think, yep, our capital. You can't build this thing normally in the tribal era, but here we are with an event to do so. A city will help us increase our development. We'll have to see how that turns out in 2 years once this finishes constructing. In the meantime, we're up to 3 development. I actually feel pretty confident that we can take this to 10 development to feudalize. Now that the city is constructed, we can build some guilds. They'll add development growth to the whole county. Now that I have a city, I can actually use that city to form a holy order, which will help us if we're ever invaded. Hopefully though, the only wars I'm involved in are these stupid rebel wars. The plan is to hold feasts and tours whenever possible until I reach 10 development. I did exactly that for a few years and we've gotten 5 development, halfway to the 10 development we need. I've died, and while I keep all my land now that we have the Empire title, it does set us back in terms of the perks. I'll go straight into a scholarship focus, but at this age, I don't think I'll be getting the scholar perk. Because of this, I'm actually back to losing development every month. Apparently, we need everything to be perfect to get anything done. With a new court gardener, I was able to get the monthly change to 0, which is all good as the perks will come eventually. I was just minding my business having a coronation when the nomads came knocking. Yeah, we're screwed. We are now a tributary, and it has us paying half of our income, so we're not making nearly as much money anymore. At least now that the coronation is over, we're back to gaining development. I can't say I enjoy being a tributary, but it's not like we have much of a choice. Although, I could change our tax level. Our suzerain would be willing to decrease our taxes if I pay him some money now, which should help us in the long run. Our military wasn't strong enough to defend our people, and I think the only way to help that will be to replace every single stack of our archers with the new men-at-arms type we get from forest wardens. They have the same bonus in Taigas, but with default stats much higher. Now, I don't know if this will do that much, but at least it should be better in theory. We have 6 development, but this is just taking forever. We're only gaining 0.6 per month, and that value will go down once our development goes up. At least if I don't do anything. It might be a good idea to get parochialism, which will give us some development growth, since we have a city. I also keep having to do these stupid tours that I'm starting to hate. They're kind of fun if you do one every 100 years, but doing one every 10 years is just too much. I used the decision to find a new court gardener and got an excellent one, which means we might actually start getting some development once again. And yep, it's definitely helping. And once again I've died, except this might end up being a good thing. I'm much younger with a learning education and the quick trait, so I might be able to get the perks we need. Until we get those perks though, I'm going to be losing development. The development from Grand Tours is applied to the character, not the county, so that goes away on death as well. So I held a coronation, then went to university to get some perks, and now I host a tour. On top of that, I just got Bureaucrat's Legacy. I believe this will be the character to get us out of the tribal era. Oh come on, I got my freedom from my last suzerain, and now I have another guy coming in to take us over? Wait, we just won a battle against the nomads. If I fight the whole army, I'll lose, so I want to wipe peace, but I just need ever so slightly more war score. Well, I thought I'd lose, but holy crap, we just won another battle. And there we go, we actually defended ourselves this time. And I'm back to getting development. I just got the scholar perk, so in theory, I should reach 10 development in no time. Yeah, look at that. We're certainly gaining. Another requirement to become feudal is to have 70% of the tribal text, which will take us another 100 years. The culture here, though, they'll reach that 70% milestone in only 14 years. We're gaining development fast, so I think it's safe to say that it would be better for us to use the other culture instead of waiting the 100 years. When I created the new culture, all of our vassals changed with me, and that's created this problem where a bunch of land was turned to Siberia. It's causing a problem where our innovations are really slow to research, but I'm busy with other stuff, so I'll try to fix that later. I reached 10 development after 150 years of gameplay, the longest time it's ever taken me, but we are here. Now to become feudal, I need 70% of the innovations as I mentioned, so it's time to change cultures, temporarily. I need to take this county from our vassal, which luckily he will accept. I can then tribalize it since it's nomadic. Wait, what? Turning it into tribal removes the Siberian permafrost modifier? Okay, so this is a weird situation that I was not expecting. This would make it super easy to get development in Siberia, but it also feels wrong. I mean, it's clearly a glitch that they didn't think of when they had nomadic counties. I have to tribalize the county to use it, but I've decided that it would be best for me not to use this county for development and only for changing culture. I really don't want to abuse this glitch because it would just make the challenge too easy, and what's the point? We have the county, so now I will wait the 9 years it's going to take for the culture here to reach that 70% requirement. I got a bunch of prestige while waiting, and I'm using it to establish parochialism in our culture. Our development is continuing to go up by a good amount, although once we get rid of this Siberian penalty by feudalizing, I don't think we'll have any issue at all reaching 100 development. I was going to have to change cultures to go feudal anyways. Tribes of the North prevents the decision to adopt feudal ways. And now that the random culture here has 10 innovations, it's time to quickly save the game because honestly, I have no idea how this is going to work, and it might take a couple tries to get things on the right path. The first step is to move our capital to this county, and now I can convert to the local culture. I will proceed to move the realm capital back now, and I can't. Okay, let me do this right this time. I need to move the Empire de Jure capital to our current capital so that I can move the capital back and forth. It's a real simple decision to do, it'll just cost some prestige. Now when I move the capital away, I should be able to move it back. Okay, so let's move it over, and yep, I'll be able to move it back when I need to. Now again, I'll convert to the local culture. Now I'll move my capital back home. And I can proceed to adopt clan ways, apparently, which isn't what I'm doing. I don't know why the decision is called that when I'm becoming feudal, but whatever. Long live Siberia. We're now feudal, and the penalty is still there. It's still everywhere. I tried everything. I tried taking land outside of our domain and giving our domain land to a new vassal and then converting, and the penalty didn't budge. Any county within the entirety of our realm becomes feudal, and it doesn't remove the debuff. Feudalizing a county removes the debuff, but the automatic feudalization that occurs when you take the decision doesn't. I know, it's clearly an oversight. They didn't think anyone would be crazy enough to enter feudalism while owning land in Siberia, but I did, and I am. I thought about giving that vassal independence, but that won't work. It's our de jure territory. I could have theoretically gone around this, but I thought of a solution, or really a non-solution. I'm just gonna play with the hand I was given. This glitch is in the game, but it's not up to me to fix it. It's up to me to go around it. I'm not sure I'll be able to reach max development, but I'm sure gonna try. At least buildings are super cheap for us. Now that we have that sorted, or not sorted, I don't know anymore, I want to go back to being Siberian. I can't do that since you can only convert your culture once per lifetime, so it's time to die. Let's travel across the world with no protection. Before we die, I might as well get this super cool duchy building. We shouldn't even be able to get a duchy building for our text, but in this case, I can get the Charnel grounds for another 10% development growth buff. And now I'm dead. I am immediately regretting this, as I can only convert cultures once I become an adult, and I'm a 13-year-old boy. But it's worse than that. Because I'm not part of the Siberian culture, this county is getting obliterated. Instead of it being cheaper to build stuff here, it's way more expensive, and I'm losing an insane amount of control. To make matters worse, the entire nation decided they don't like me in charge, and now we must deal with a massive rebellion. I'm losing 20 gold per month. So I'm really not in the mood for a drawn-out war. Yeah, I'm screwed. A nomadic group is coming in with 30,000 men. Yeah, I'm gonna be surrendering to that, no chance we win it. And the rebellion is proving to be difficult, and I really can't survive a sustained fight, so I have no choice but to go for a white peace to end it as soon as possible. I'm finally 16, and I can convert to local culture to return to Siberian roots. Oh yeah, I have zero control over my land, so I'm making no money. And you know what's crazy? There's another glitch. The bad version of the penalty is still here, even though I just converted my culture. I think it only updates when the ruler of a county changes, which means I need to give away my county. Yep, That fixed the modifier. Now I just need to wait a year to be able to take the land back, as you can't take the land from someone who just got the title. My vassals want to rebel again, but luckily I have some sisters I can use for political alliances. It's been a year, so let's take back our capital. With no perks for development, we're just barely losing a tiny bit per month, but it's no big deal, and in theory we should be able to flip this around. In fact, if we were still tribal, we'd be losing way more per month. We'll just naturally get more development growth as I get more perks, so instead of worrying about that, there's a more pressing matter. I chose to ignore it earlier, but to progress in this game I need to convert these Siberian counties back to literally anything else. To do that, I need to remove the land from whatever Siberian owns them. Unfortunately, this entire kingdom is owned by a vassal of ours, which means none of the land that's been converted is directly underneath us. Instead of taking the county like normal, I first need to take the vassal, then take the counties. This doubles the amount of potential tyranny and work to get one title. But I really need to do this, because I can't wait 60 years for one innovation. There's just not enough time in the game. I could technically diverge our culture, but in doing so I'd be getting rid of bureaucratic and a 15% development bonus for the next 100 years. I just have to fix the culture of the land. At least there's some really good news. The Charnel Grounds Duchy building doesn't require any innovations to upgrade all the way to level 3 for 30% development growth. And while the land was owned by the other guy temporarily, they built the Grand Temple that comes from this county being a holy site. And a Grand Temple also provides development. Another way to form a new culture would be through hybridization, but that's not going to happen, as it's impossible with the Tribes of the North tradition. Okay, I guess we're fighting another rebellion, and some other person is jumping in on it too to try to take advantage. We should be fine though. I think we can win both of these wars, which I did, and now I can go back to figuring out a way to get these titles. But first, I went ahead and started buying and upgrading all the buildings we can. I'm tired of losing money every month. Hey, look at that, we're finally not losing money. I've almost maxed out my entire domain though, since, I don't have many innovations, which means there aren't many upgrades to get. As I've mentioned, to fix the cultural problem, I'm gonna have to revoke titles, which means I'm preparing to fight some civil wars. I need to give away this land to someone who's not of the Siberian culture, and over time they should just naturally convert it. I need to unlock these innovations, all because of the existing development penalty. I need to get enough bonuses to bypass that penalty to reach a high level of development, and to do that, I need to unlock new buildings. Look, one of those counties converted already. It happens so fast because the conversion speed is based on cultural acceptance, which is very high, and development. Lower development means quicker conversion, so it's gonna be fast when development is literally 0. I can only take a title or 2 every 10 years or so due to the tyranny penalty. If I build up too much tyranny, the empire will come crashing down. Fabricating claims will help, as you can revoke titles you have a claim on without penalty, but that only works if it's a direct vassal, and all these guys are not direct vassals. I suppose I'll just have to be patient. What I need to figure out is a way to grow our development past the max development penalty, which is set at 20 for us right now. I believe if we continue to host feasts, go on tour, and get the scholar perk, we should be growing, albeit maybe a little slowly. I have to know for a fact that I'll be able to increase development a lot more once I get these counties sorted and some more innovations. Now that we're feudal, I can spend extra money up front to increase the success rate of our tours, which means I don't have to go to as many vassals. And thank God for that, because I was tired of 5-year-long tours. This is what I mean about the buildings. Better innovations means higher level of these buildings that'll increase development each level. Good news, I was right, and I'll be able to keep gaining development with this strategy infinitely. I'm almost at 20 development and still growing. I plan to make a couple big changes later to speed this up by a ton. Yep, there we are at 20 development, and we're increasing at 3.1 points per month, or 1 development every 2.5 to 3 years or so. Obviously, this isn't quick enough, but there's nothing to do until we get more innovations, so we'll just have to wait. I just gotta continue fighting civil wars for something as stupid as getting rid of my own culture. Isn't that weird? Those big changes are coming real soon, as we're about to enter the early medieval era. It'll let us research those new innovations we need and get a new cultural tradition. Before we do that though, let's do that first change, the biggest change of them all. I'm changing my government type to administrative. It's the government type that the Byzantines use that adds a ton of changes. Being administrative adds an estate for each house. It's kind of like a landless extra county. Here I can build some special buildings that'll increase our development growth. The grain field building starts at 4%, but will go all the way up to 24%. Once it finishes constructing, I'll get even more buildings for development here. The next change is how succession works. All the titles in the nation have what are like elections that are determined by a variety of factors. The most important being how much influence the candidate is given. A new currency based on how important your family and connections are. As you can see from up here, money is different too. It's split up between personal funds and title funds. I'm losing a lot of money, so I need to get rid of my personal military. That's right, the military is different too. Each title has its own militia and uses the title's treasury funds instead of your personal income. So our military may be a lot weaker right now, but as we develop, it'll be even stronger than before. But that's not really why I did this. I did it for the extra development. Now it's time to do the culture stuff, and I'm researching manorialism first to unlock early medieval economic buildings. It'll also let us upgrade our cities, which will increase development growth thanks to parochialism. For our new tradition, I'm going with good old-fashioned industrious. It'll give us 25 development growth every time I construct a new building, up to once a year, and it'll let us get wind and water mills early. Now, I can't construct windmills in Siberia, but water mills are great too, and are available. Aw man, I can't get a new tradition until 1091. Well, I guess it's back to waiting for me. Hey look, there's a garden estate building that makes your court gardeners better. That's pretty cool. Our culture is overall shrinking, although I think it's spread to a few more counties, but yeah, overall, there's less. With administrative, we're making more money, so I can use this to get more development. Court Grandeur level 6 will get us plus 0.2 in our capital, and that'll cost us 4.22 gold per month. With the last couple of changes, we're all the way up to getting 6 point of development a month, compared to the 3 points earlier. Administrative adds a ton of stuff, because it also adds this projects tab with a developed communities project we can do. For 1,000 gold, we can start the project. It'll give us 10% development growth. We have these two other contributions we need to do, and luckily for us, I can convince one of our vassals to do at least one of them for us. It'll be completed in 10 years, and we'll get that 10% dev growth, and also half a development level. Pretty overpriced to be honest, but it's worth it to me. Yet another way to get even more development in an administrative realm is the apart court position, which functions basically as another court gardener. With all that sorted, we should be good for the rest of the game. As new innovations come, this will only go up until we reach the dream of 100 development. Oh, and I can't do grand tours anymore, so we can't get development that way, but I don't mind at all. I hate doing tours. Wait, I thought that was the last way to increase development, but I was wrong. There's this powerful family attribute thing that I can upgrade for even more development growth, plus cultural fascination progress, which I need too. And now that it's been enough time, I'm getting industrious. We're absolutely set. I'm continuing to do the same stuff that got us to this point, and at this very moment, I have 42 development in the capital and it's continuing to grow. I don't have much to add since, like I said, I'm just doing the same stuff over and over again. I've narrowed our culture down to only 3 counties, so we only have 2 extra counties. My previous character died, so I'm no longer getting as much development as before, but that's okay, because even without the perks, it's still going up and not down. At this point, every character I have is a genius, so perks should not be an issue. In addition to perks, befriending your steward is super important. Instead of using the befriend scheme from the diplomacy lifestyle, I'm using events to become friends. We're in the middle of a civil war, but that's fine because we unlocked manorialism, and now I'm going for battlements. This will unlock level 2 castles in 19 years, much faster than the previous innovations took to unlock. Unrelated to manorialism, but I'm abusing industrious by replacing a building in this temple over and over again to get the plus 25 development points every year. Because we're old and administrative, I need to sort out my succession. I simply have to go to my son here and influence his candidacy using, influence. I have a lot of influence built up, so it's as simple as that to put my son in line for the throne. He will inherit all the titles, which means there's going to be no issues with our succession. We're officially at the halfway point of 50 development, although this second half will go by much quicker, I guarantee it. I want my current character to die since he's old and I won't be able to get scholar on him, and my heir is super good. To kill him, I'm going to do the same thing I did earlier and take a pilgrimage as far away as I can with no protection. My guy just won't die. Yep, he survived unscathed. What a crazy life. What? Not a year later, he's died of old age, whatever that means. I don't know how he survived that trip. Our new guy is a genius who should be able to get all the learning perks required pretty quickly. I'll need to befriend our brother cousin over here to get our development pumping fast. Like I mentioned earlier, to do this, I will host events with the befriend intent until I get a friend with high development. Then I think I'll be set until I reach 100 development, like actually. Look at this, the little bit of gold all the way up in the north. I believe I'm actually the most developed place on Earth, or at least very close to being so. Well, maybe not, but I'm certainly almost there. If you want development growth, you gotta go with cities, because these guilds are giving us 20% development growth. That development helped us get battlements, and now I'll be getting magistrates for the extra building slot. More for money than development. With level 2 castles, I'm able to upgrade all our economic buildings to level 4, including the water mills, which increases our development growth by a lot. What the heck? 30,000 men are coming after a county, and I don't care about it. Okay, well, let's try to fight this anyways. Oh, the power of a white piece. Really saves me a lot of time and effort. And that's 71 development, growing at 10 points per month. I think it's all but done, so I'll just be waiting. And feasting over and over again. It's bulk season. Bulk season is great as you can eat all you want, and it only costs a small fortune. But it increases development. I'm not sure if I need to clarify, but yes, that has 2 meanings. I'm in this war, and while I still haven't upgraded my military, I can simply buy all the mercenaries possible to win any battle I need to. I mean, there's not many mercenaries in Siberia, but a few thousand men is better than nothing. I just unlocked magistrates, and I was looking at the other innovations to decide what to get, and there's one obvious answer here: coinage. I don't need any more development growth, but 10% is 10%, and I might as well commit to getting every possible modifier. With the new building slot, I'm just getting whatever will give me some money, as I don't believe there's any more development buildings to get. I finally did it. I got rid of the Siberian culture in all the extra counties, except for one of the counties next to us, but that's actually fine. The counties next to us are getting development super fast due to the neighboring county's modifier. Now isn't that funny? And just as an extra bonus, my capital is officially the most developed place in the entire world. It's more developed than China. I'm just waiting at this point. It's only a matter of time. And with the whole body trait, I won't have to worry about dying before we reach 100 development, as that could ruin everything. Now that coinage is discovered, let's check out what our development is like. Oh, yeah, that's a lot of modifiers, especially percent modifiers. I've technically had a longer list before, but to get all of this in Siberia is pretty nuts. We're so close. And there we go, it's official. We've hit 100 development in Siberia of all places, with the penalty active the entire time. It's beautiful. Thank you guys for watching this challenge. I had to do it after promising it in that Russia video. Here's a similar but slightly easier challenge where I do the same thing in the Sahara Desert.